Hi everybody, it's me, Maria. Those of you who have joined Nail Nation on Facebook, as well as on YouTube, first of all, I want to say thank you. Second of all, I wanted to address some questions that I've been noticing on all the other people's pages as well as my own. People have questions about what polishes work best with stamping plates, i.e. Conad, Bundle Monster, the ones you can get from scratchers.com if any of you are looking for plates maybe that aren't as expensive as Conad. What I'm going to do with this tutorial is take a few polishes that are several different brands and a couple of different colors. Some will work, some will not work. That's intentional. That's so that you can see the difference in the color, the texture, and the brands, what might work for you best. If you do not see a brand that you are trying to use, message me or talk to me on Facebook. I will see if I can obtain that color if I do not already have it, or brand, as well as maybe helping you locate similar brands to the ones that I'm using that work, that are maybe more affordable in your area. So again, hope this is helpful for those of you who are already using stamping plates or for those of you who would like to start. So here we go. Okay, while I wait for the base color to dry on my hands, we can go over a couple of things regarding the plates themselves. The maintenance of your plate is critical. As you can see, I have pretty much every Conad, several of these Bundle Monster ones that they have now improved on. They used to be like this with no padding on the back, and they were kind of sharp. The new Bundle Monster is very, very similar to the Conad ones, where they have the padding on the back and it's a little smoother. And then here, what we have here, these little stop sign ones, they are, I got these from a company called scratchers.com. If you Google it, you can even do payment and everything straight through your Google account. These stamps, the C series, this is C2. It's pretty good, actually. This one I like very much. These giant ones that I got from them, I have found that they work, but occasionally the laser etching, that is what the plate is actually designed with, is not as good. It's like when you run your fingers across it, you can't feel the design, which means it's going to be a little more difficult to use other polishes. The polish will need to be thicker and much more like the special polish. And of course, everybody's favorite, Conad. Conad, honestly, I know their price is a little higher. They're about $8.99 a plate on wowsocool.com. You can sometimes find these on Amazon for $3.99 to $12, which blows my mind. I don't know why they're charging $12 for ones that Wow So Cool still has for $8.99. However, the etching on these plates is so much more detailed, and you can feel it when you run your fingers across it, and it's a smoother profile than, for example, these giant ones, which you can see the difference in size there is massive, so you cannot fit them in the Conad. And of course, the little stop sign one, it doesn't fit either. However, I found you don't really need the support for these. The Conad ones, I recommend it just because they're a little slicker on the back, and they're smaller, so they're a little harder to control when they're running across your cloth that you may have underneath them. So what I use for the Conad, of course, is the guard that holds it. The Conad scrapers, you've seen there's a couple of different ones like this from Conad. There's a dark pink one. It doesn't have the little bumps on it. It's the same one. These are the best scrapers. Scrapers and stamps, if you want to use other stamping plates, I recommend highly that you order those. The stamper or the two-sided stamper, which I have several of both of these because I have found that they really do work a little differently. Occasionally you'll get one, it doesn't work as well with a certain kind of stamp. Also, something people don't realize, and this will help your stamp work better, Conad has it on their website as well, is that you take a high grit, 100 to 180 grit nail file like this one, and you run it across the surface, just like this, very lightly, not, you know, pushing real hard. And you're taking off that little bit of gloss that they have on it when you first receive it. And with a little remover, and I recommend using these gauze squares. You can get them at supply houses. You can also get them at pharmacies. They may be a little more expensive at the pharmacy, depending on where you are. But use these instead of cotton. You won't get all that fuzz on everything. But then what happens is, see, it's a little bit dull now. It will pick up the polish better. Any polish, not just the Conad special stamping polish. You should do the same thing with this one as well as these. And you definitely want to have a cotton or gauze saturated in your remover and have it sitting there. This one's for your stamping stamper, the rubber stamper. And then you want to have one more, and that's going to be to wipe your plate. And you want to wipe the plate immediately after you pick up the stamp, because every time you let it dry in here, it just leaves a little bit behind, and you're causing damage to your plate. And I recommend you have a dry one. The dry one's to wipe your plate off immediately. This will give you a little bit more control. You won't get wet polished surface on your next stamp. If you don't dry it off, you could. And I recommend, as a little eraser, get a Q-tip like this one. Pardon these, for some reason they are a little less tight. I recommend, this is Q-tip brand, but usually Q-tip brand's a little tighter than that. But totally saturate. I used the blue remover so you could kind of see it on there. Totally saturate one side and leave the other side dry. And what you're going to do is you're going to use it to erase anything on the stamping plate that you don't want there, as well as you can dry it off or pick up anything that drips if you've used a looser polish other than that. So what I did was I polished 4 of my nails white, 1 black. I did this because I'm going to show you the difference in a couple of these polishes, how they show up on lighter colors versus darker colors. Now, of course, your results are going to vary based on the base coat you're using. I do not recommend using shimmers or very thin pale colors over opaques and metallics. They don't really show up. That's kind of become the general census on that one. So I'm going to start with this one. This is CO2 right here. And this one, something I want to show you is also, you may be able to use one polish on 1 or 2 images versus the rest of them. If it has a lot of detail, you may not be able to use some of your polishes, but don't give up on any color that doesn't work on a plate. Try it on another plate. You never know with each image what will happen with that polish until you try it. Now,